Hi, my name is Wendy Hammond. I'm a registered nurse, a health and wellness coach, and a lifestyle coach. I'm passionate about a lot of things, and one of them is history. I am passionate also about voting, political rights, and health policy, as well as all things related to health. So I took my time and I wanted to um, show you all how to look up voting records and how to understand that your vote at the state level is way more important than that at the federal level. With the way that things are right now, I think that people really need to understand that your vote counts and it's more important at the state level because you'll be more directly affected that way. So let's get this started. Um, as I said, when voting, most people focus on the larger elections, such as the presidential elections. However, during the 2016 to 2018 election cycle, there was a 10% difference in voter turnout between the midterm elections and the primary elections. So voting at the state level is where you will reap more of the benefits than anything else. And with this PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to help you to identify what some of those state offices are, know the responsibilities of each office, and be able to help you to look up the voting records so that you can become an informed voter. So, of course, I have to talk a little bit about the federal government, right? So, the federal government, we have the legislative branch that's made up of two senators from each state, and the amount of congressmen or congresswomen is based on the population of that state. So larger states have more than smaller states. And the House of Representatives, they are elected every 2 years. The Senate elections are staggered. Approximately one third of them are elected every 2 years. And of course, you have your executive branch, which signs laws, vetoes laws, they pardon people. Everybody's more familiar with that. And then the judicial branch, they decide if the laws are actually constitutional. And those are judges that are appointed by the president. But I want to focus really on the legislative branch. This is the congressmen, congresswomen, the senators. These are the people that make the laws that we are living under, that we are subjected to. So again, I wanted to focus on the state government, but of course, we have to know what the federal government in order to understand the state, because the state governments are modeled after the federal governments, or maybe actually, if you go back in history, the federal government is modeled over the state government, because when the Constitution was written, there were laws for the states before there were laws for the federal government. And Hamilton, who everybody really loves the play, he was a Federalist, and he helped to write the Constitution, but implementing that the federal government should have some oversight over some things, and then other things should be at the state level, which is something that I do agree with. So low key be a Federalist. I don't think so though. But anyway, let's move on. I have no party affiliation, so this is truly a nonpartisan presentation. So you have branches of the state office. So you have your executive branch, that is the same, similar to what the executive branch is at the federal level. So the executive branch is charged with implementing and enforcing the laws that are made by the state legislators. You have the governor, who is the chief executive of the state. He has powers similar to the president of the United States. You have the lieutenant governor, and not every state has a lieutenant governor, but they act like the vice president. They will serve as the governor. If the governor is unable to serve for whatever reason, you have the Secretary of State. They are responsible for maintaining state records, overseeing elections, and they have other administrative duties. And you have your Attorney General. That's the state's chief legal officer, and they represent the state in legal matters and enforcing state laws. The treasurer manages the funds, investments, and finances. The comptroller ensures that those public funds are used properly. And then you have the superintendent of public instruction and public education. They, of course, oversee public schools and other, and then you have other offices of the executive branch. Now, not every state has these offices, so you have to check your state to see if they have these. So you have an auditor, an agricultural commissioner, a natural resource commissioner, and an insurance commissioner. And it depends how large your state is, if you have these extra offices, or I should say other offices. And some of these offices are appointed by legislator, or they are chosen by they're either appointed by the legislator or the Supreme Court, or you can become elected into those offices. And again, it depends on what your state's legislation rules say. So other branches, you have your legislative branch, which you have your state senators, and they are elected to represent specific districts within the state. So at the federal level, you have those senators over the entire state. At the state level, they are assigned districts within the state and they make the laws. And the state representatives are the same. These are all for certain districts. So you need to know what district you live in and what state senator you are voting for your district. And then you have the judicial branch. So these are the highest ruling court in the state. And then you have the state court judges. So the state court judges, some of them can be elected and some of them can be appointed. I do believe the Supreme Court of the state are all appointed. I could be with these is you can go to everyone's record, their voting record, and how judges rule. That is all public knowledge. So you can go to your state's website and you can look at specific judges and see how they rule so that you will know which judge you should be voting for according to your values and that kind of thing. So if you feel like you have a judge that is who gives no grace in a specific area, you can vote against them or vote for them. So it's what your values are and what you want to see in your state and your community. Okay, so I decided to talk about two states. Florida is a large state, and then another state, Delaware, and I lived in both. So I have had some firsthand experience on how things work. So let's start with Florida. Florida is the 27th state. It became a state on March 3rd, 1845. It is, um, it consists of at the federal level, we have 2 senators and 28 representatives um, for our Congress and House, for our House of Representatives. Florida is a red state, so the majority of our legislators are Republican. Both senators are Republicans, and 20 of the House of Representatives are Republicans. The remaining 8 are Democrats. So this is the 119th Congress. The 119 means that since 1789, the first session of Congress has been held. Every 2 years, they began counting, and now for the year 2025, 2020, yeah, 2025, this is the 119th Congress. So from 2024 to 2025. So when we go to the polls next year in January, there will be a January, I believe, of 2027, it'll be a new Congress, or the January 2026. Anyway, we are at the 119th Congress. I'm getting my years mixed up. So every state has a Department of Health. The Department of Health is a governmental agency. And remember, politics, health, they all go hand in hand. We live in a capitalistic country, and money is what talks. And politics and money go hand in hand. So the Department of Health is important because it is a governmental agency, and each state has a different number of offices, and the offices are run differently. So in Florida, we have 67 counties and we have 67 health departments. The mission is to promote, protect, and improve the health of all the people in the state through integrated state, county, and community efforts. It is a cabinet level office. The agency is headed by the state's Surgeon General, who reports directly to the governor. Now, he has offices in Tallahassee and different offices throughout the region. So the Department of Public Health has 8 Children's Medical Services area offices, 12 Medical Quality Assurance regional offices, 9 Disability Determinations regional offices, and 3 public health laboratories, establishing goals for the public health system through the state health improvement plan. Now, this is developing and maintaining plans for procedures for emergency preparedness, response as the lead agency for the state's emergency support function. So, Florida, we have hurricanes and stuff. So this is what the state's health improvement plan does. They will maintain and help the county's health department to be ready in case of an emergency, hurricanes, floods, and all of those things. Now, the funding relies on state sources, county sources, federal sources, service fees, Medicaid grants, and other contracts. Now, that's the overall health department. Now, the county health department, their roles are to give direct service to the Florida's public health system. So every county has a public health department, and they work as a state and local partnership. They contract annually with boards of county commissioners. They provide services aligned with the 4 core pillars of public health: infectious disease prevention and control, which includes surveillance, diagnosis, treatment, vaccination programs, that type of thing. They also do acute care and preventative services. They provide prenatal care, family planning, immunization, and they even do environmental health stuff. So they do inspections of sewage disposal systems, tattoo parlors, swimming pools, and they monitor water sources for contamination. And again, at the county level, there's also emergency preparedness. So they will help to coordinate emergency plans, staffing, shelters. They tailor their services to address the specific health issues and priorities within that local community. So they will help to generate vital records such as births and death certificates. Now, they are funded by a mix of state, county, and federal funds, as well as service fees. Excuse me. Excuse me. I've been traveling and asthma. So, their funding is supported by a mix of state, county, and federal funds, as well as service fees, Medicaid grants, and contracts. So this is what they do, similar to the federal Department of Health. So the community health departments and the federal health department, they do work together, and they plan to make sure that the overall state's public health is improved. So that is what the federal health, I'm sorry, the state level health department um, does. So now let's go to the municipal government, which is at the city level. So the cities and towns, they have their governing bodies, and that's called the municipal government, right? So you have a mayor that's elected as the top official. You have city council that's elected to make policies and decisions that impact a specific town or city. And then you have the city charter and related laws that guide the city council. Now, the elected officials, they are supported by the staff. They have parks and recreation, arts, cultural affairs, sewer, water. Um, these are just some of the responsibilities of the city workers. The city hall serves as a location for many of the municipal government officials, and public safety should be their major responsibility. The fire department and the police department sometimes are managed by cities, towns, some are volunteer, and some are even managed by the state. So it just depends on the county that people live in. And it depends on what your state does as well. So let's go to the smaller state, Delaware. Now, Delaware is known as the first state because it was one of the original colonies, and on December 7th, 1787, it was the first of the United States colonies to ratify the U.S. Constitution. And that just means that it made it valid. So Delaware signed it first. They were, let's go, let's do this, let's be gung ho about this. Um, Now, because it's such a small state, it only has one state representative, one congressman. It does have two senators, and they both are Democrats. Now, Delaware has only one Department of Public Health, and that lies within their state's Department of Health and Social Services. So, unlike Florida, where it has the huge governing body of the Department of Health, and it has the smaller counties in each, it has the smaller departments of health, the county health departments in every county. Delaware, although it has three counties, it only has one large Department of Health and Social Services that houses the Department of Health. Now, just because it's a small state, they still have a lot of offices. So there are 15 state service centers that are located in various places in the state. So even though their Department of Public Health is centralized, they have like I said, other things happening in all of the counties. Now, their county's public health department is ran differently than Florida's, and every state's is different. So check how your state's Department of Public Health is running. So looking at the municipal government level for Delaware, even though it's a small state, Delaware has 57 incorporated municipalities, and these cover all of the small towns in each county. And so that they could have another checks and balance system in place, in 1963, they formulated and founded the Delaware League of Local Governments. And this is a group of local government leaders who are nonpartisan, which have a goal to improve everyday life for all Delawareans. The organization is not for profit, and the mission is to strengthen and support Delaware's local governments in their towns, their cities, and counties. And they do this through advocacy, development of effective leadership. Advocacy and development of effective leadership. So I wanted to show you that each state is really run differently. And I encourage you to go to your state's website, whatever state it is, it's whateverstate.org, or just Google the name of the website and look at your state's organizational chart, and you can see. So this is the Delaware one, and I showed you the Florida one. You can look up what your state's organizational chart looks like. And then you can also go a little deeper and look at how they vote. So I want to share this quote with you. This is from the now deceased Supreme Court Justice Sarah Day O'Connor. She said, "It's just critical that if we are going to survive as a nation, that all of our citizens know and understand the fundamental beliefs we most strongly believe. So you have to start at the beginning, and that means the Declaration of Independence." I truly encourage you, if you have never read it, do so. It is a long read, but it helps you to really understand and to grasp what our founding fathers wanted, and what we see is not it. What we are seeing, what we are experiencing right now is really not it. Okay, so the next slide will be the video that I recorded. And again, I'm not going to play it here, but you can watch it on my YouTube channel. And if you download this presentation, I encourage you to download it, share it. I give permission that you can share this. Just know that it's my stuff. And because I want people to understand and learn how to vote, understand what it means at the state level. So that's the video. In Florida, so as an independent voter, I cannot vote in a primary election unless it's a certain has to be certain things. But you will get a sample ballot in the mail. When you get your sample ballot, look and see who is on that ballot. Research them before you even go to the poll, because you can take your sample ballot with you, make your notes, vote right on there on your sample ballot who you want to vote for. So when you get to the poll, you're not standing there looking at, trying to figure it out. Oh, I don't even know who this person is. Especially when they have questions, you can look up those questions and determine what is right for you before you even go to the polls. And then November 3rd is general election day. Please, 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 please get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. We need to have legislators that are going to make laws and rules that help everyone. Whatever that looks like for you. Whatever that looks like for you and your state and your community, your household. But you need to vote for those legislators. The president really, the president does matter, but when it comes down to making the laws, it is the Congress and the senators that matter. And then in January, we will have a newly elected uh, Congress people and senators that will be sworn in. Now, remember, I told you everybody doesn't get a chance to be reelected. I think it's 1/3 of the senators and congressmen are elected every 2 years. So remember, the midterm elections are the most important ones. They are really more important than the president, in my opinion. The president is the face of America, but the legislation, the House and the Senate, makes the laws. And those are the people we need to focus on. Learn how they vote. So look and see how they vote so that you can vote for them or not vote for them, depending upon what you value, what you want for your family and your community. So this is a picture of what 2026 election dates are. Um, the whole thing. Remember, you have to have an ID. You have to have a valid ID, something with your picture, your signature, your address, a valid ID with your picture on it so that you can vote. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. This will be put up on my YouTube page. I am given permission for you to use it for educational purposes only. And again, I am not a public official. This is a nonpartisan presentation. I am passionate about health and politics. One of my goals is to help to increase the health literacy in the Black and brown community, and how better to do that by advocating and helping people to understand how much their vote matters and where it really is affecting you at. So this is the PDF. Let me do this. This is the PDF for this right here. You can click on this link and download it. Remember, make sure you have your valid ID. Set a date to get out and vote, because you may be able to do early voting. And then you can download this link, put it on your refrigerator, so that you can remember what you need, especially for our elderly. If they need to have a ride or plan, or, because they have doctor's appointments, they don't want to stand in long lines, help them to get out early voting or help them to get their mail-in ballot done. Okay, and then in summary, I'm going to just leave you with this. This is something that I grew up watching, and it's really quick, but it is something that I think that everybody should refer to. So let me get past the commercial. Um, it's not letting me. Okay, I couldn't play it, so it's there. It is. It is. So if you click on it, it'll play. So thank you so much. This is me, Wendy Hammond. This is my website, Wendy. You can email me at wendy@imthrnforgod.vision, and this is the link This is the link to my YouTube channel here. So thank you very much and have a great day.